This is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussion, continuing our retro pay-per-view review series. This is going to be King of the Ring 2000. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into it, man. June 25th, 2000, from Boston, Massachusetts. Roughly 17,651 on hand. Ross and Lawler doing the commentary. Buy rate on this one was actually pretty good considering the card. It was 475,000. So it was pretty good. They brought back the full tournament to this one now.
Well, they had the full tournament the year before.
Yeah,
they just extended it. They extended it this year.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase it. This was the biggest tournament they've ever had because it started with 32 wrestlers,
right,
and went down to this. The
right.
tournament itself was pretty good.
They still had qualifying matches. They still had qualifying matches, and then they had the first another round. Or I guess
they did.
It was like a whole other tournament, right? Round. I guess if you put it was like a whole other tournament, wasn't it? Sort of like
they did the qualifying in the first round on Raw and whatnot. And then this was the quarterfinals from that.
Well, they had. Well, I mean, what I mean by that is it's basically double, right? It was basically double what the normal tournament. Would have been.
Normally they do 16 with the qualifying.
They had. I think they even had matches on Sunday Night Heat. I think they had the matches all over the place. I think.
Yeah, Raw, Heat, every SmackDown.
Yeah, they were just trying to get them done.
So I mean, here we go with the breakdown of these are the qualifying matches that we had.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Rikishi beating Shane McMahon. Bull Buchanan over Steve Blackman. Val Venus defeats Al Snow. China over The Godfather. Kurt Angle beating Bradshaw. Crash Holly defeats Albert. Hardcore Holly defeats Farouk. Poor Acolytes. Chris Benoit beat the Road Dogg. Perry Saturn beats Devon Dudley. Bubba Dudley defeats the Big Boss Man. Guerrero over Matt Hardy. Chris Jericho defeated Test. X-Pac defeated Dean Malenko. Jeff Hardy defeats Christian. Scotty Jihadi defeated D'Lo Brown, and Edge over Grandmaster Sexay. That was just a qualifier. First round of it, Val Venus beat Jeff Hardy. Bull Buchanan beat Perry Saturn. Rikishi over Scotty Jihadi. That's funny. Kurt Angle defeats Bubba Dudley. Eddie Guerrero defeated China. Crash Holly defeated Hardcore Holly. Chris Jericho over Edge, and Benoit over X-Pac. So that brought us to our tournament. And the tournament, I liked what the brackets that we had, the finals that we had. You had two upcoming superstars going at it in the main event. I liked how they did that. The coronation for this winner would be the next night on Raw, not sent in the mail like Billy Gunn's was.
And they brought back the title shot.
They were supposed to.
Yeah. Well, as far as this night,
they mentioned it. Yeah,
they
said that the winner would get a title shot at Fully Loaded. But thankfully, Chris Benoit got that title shot. Now, the reason for that was the night after, and I know I'm skipping through the whole thing, but I might as well just let it out now. Triple H was not the one pinned in the main event when The Rock won the title. Now, new commissioner Mick Foley, who the next night Shawn Michaels gave up the commissionership, Mick Foley took over. Triple H came out demanding his title rematch, considering he was never pinned for losing the title. Kurt Angle came out saying that he was deserving of the title shot because he won the King of the Ring.
He won.
So, and I don't understand why Foley made it a triple threat match, because Rock had nothing to do with this match. It should have just been literally one-on-one, winner gets the shot. It was Triple H versus Kurt Angle versus The Rock. The winner gets the title shot against The Rock. The Rock winds up winning the match, so neither one of them win the match. So neither one of them get the title match.
Right.
So Fully Loaded, Triple H winds up going to face Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit is now the number one contender. Yeah, right. Tell me what they're thinking on that. Yeah.
I don't. Let's just move on.
Sure. Hey, Sean, you might want to take your job back.
Right? Yeah, seriously.
Because The Rock did not even belong in that match. It was like Triple H, Angle, winner, good, loaded, reloaded. Here we go.
There you go.
No. Right, anyway, let now that we've spoiled pretty much half the card here, let's get on with it. Quarterfinal matches. It was Rikishi versus Chris Benoit. And this was a rivalry, boy, because Rikishi had beat Benoit on SmackDown for the IC title 3 days earlier.
Right.
So Rikishi's coming in here on a winning streak. Benoit's pissed off, and it wouldn't. I mean, it definitely showed.
I guess the IC title wasn't on the line either. I mean,
no,
that would have been an interesting stipulation if they would have said for only the first round, the IC title would be on the line.
If you're a champion, you defend your title.
Considering he was the. He had just beaten Benoit. Give Benoit a chance to get the title back and becoming the king of the ring.
Well, unfortunately for Benoit, he doesn't get his title back. He doesn't advance in the King Ring, but he does get a WWE title shot after this. He did one of the highlights of it. He did have the crossface on Rikishi, but Rikishi broke it. But unfortunately, Benoit gets a chair, hits Rikishi, and gets disqualified. Hits him in the same arm that he injured on SmackDown. You can see the welt on there.
That injury is going forward in the tournament, dude.
Yeah. And after the match, Benoit reapplied the crossface and refused to break it. And then following that, the flying headbutt, and then again putting the crossface on. So Rikishi's going into the next round as a huge underdog in this matter.
You're thinking it's a Bret Hart situation, but not quite.
No, not even close. Now, the only thing I didn't like about this pay-per-view is because it's match, backstage segment, match, backstage segment. We're just constantly. Let's move on with this, boys. They showed on Heat, Michael Cole had interviewed Linda McMahon, who was going to confront Vince later that night. After that, they showed Triple H, Stephanie, Vince, and Shane in the room. H is telling Vince to keep his cool, and Vince is over there going, "I'm Joe Cool." And the whole night, Triple H was like, "Yeah, okay, Joe Cool." Yeah. I thought that was funny. But the segment with Vince and Linda was actually pretty good. And then following that, Michael Cole had interviewed Chris Benoit on what he had done earlier. Now, our next match in the quarterfinals would be European champion Eddie Guerrero versus Val Venus with Trish Stratus in his corner. And, of course, you got Mamacita out there in Eddie Guerrero's corner. This was longer than the opening match. Val had gone for the money shot. Eddie got his knees up on that one. He hits a hurricanrana off the top rope, which I thought was cool. Of course, Trish gets on the apron here, trying to get involved, and all of a sudden, here comes Chyna. Now the crowd's getting into this match because now you got Chyna and Trish.
Trish going out, yeah.
Val grabs Chyna, but Chyna, hits him. Val put Eddie in a fisherman suplex and gets the pin, so Val Venus is moving on to the second round, or semifinals at this point, I guess you could say. So following that, in the back, they have Pat Patterson trying to find a dress for his match. This is where I said the tournament was good, but the other matches they had on there was 100% crapola. I'm sorry. And this being one of them. Every match they had that wasn't in the tournament match, with the exception of maybe the main event, and I'm being lenient and nice on that one, was shit. I'm sorry. I don't know if you agree or not. But this wasn't really, the tournament was better than 99, but the pay-per-view itself wasn't, to me, wasn't any better. Actually, there was a writer years later that referred to this as, he felt like this was just a monthly WCW pay-per-view.
Well, I don't think it was that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. Not by this point in WCW, no. So, following Patterson's issues, Coach interviewed Rikishi, asking him if he was good for the next round, and he told him nothing was going to stop him. This is where it shows that possibly Rikishi's going to be the one that gets over, because they're at this point they're really building him.
They're building him. The fans are behind him. He's a baby face.
Only to destroy him in 6 months.
Yep.
Or actually less than that.
Even less than that.
What was this, June? So, 4 months. Yeah. Our next match was, and they were, and here's another one where you thought this was like a Savio Vega moment from 1995. It's a huge underdog going all the way and winning it. And this being Crash Holly was facing Bo Buchanan now. Yeah. And Buchanan was dominating this match the whole time. And why not? I mean, he's like a foot taller than Crash, and he's 100-something pounds heavier than Crash. Now, Buchanan misses his scissor kick, and Crash rolled him up and gets the pin. And this is pretty much how it went for Crash throughout the tournament. So now Crash Holly has moved on to the semifinals of the tournament. So following this now, Vince has his confrontation with Linda in the back. Linda asking if the main event will be straight up, or is it going to be 12-on-3 like it was, like it's been in weeks before. And, of course, Vince is so confident in running his mouth with Linda that he drops in a special little incentive there. No interference whatsoever. This is going to be a straight-up match, which Triple H is irate at this point once he finds out about this one. So Our next match was probably one of the best matches of the quarterfinals. It was Chris Jericho versus Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed this match. It was the longest of it, and for good reason. As Jericho applied the walls of Jericho on Angle, Stephanie had come running down.
Kurt Angel.
Kurt Angel. I loved when he did those segments. It was great.
Trash Stratus, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angel.
Oh man. And of course you got the trash bag bottom feeding whore Stephanie coming down. That's what it didn't make sense in 2002. For years he's bashing her, and then all of a sudden they're together. We've talked about it a lot. It just didn't make any sense. And of course, Stephanie comes running down. The ref didn't. Of course, the ref doesn't see Angle tapping as she's distracting him. Jericho broke the hold. Angle hits Jericho into the ref. Steph wants to hit Jericho with the women's title, but hits Angle instead. Here we go. Jericho kisses Stephanie. Angle hits him with the Angle slam. Jericho's too distracted. Angle gets the pin. Angle's moving on. Unfortunately, I actually thought that Chris Jericho could have been good as the King of the Ring in 2000.
I know, man. It's just that they pushed, and nothing against Angle, because Angle is one of the greatest ever. They pushed him to the moon right away, and he deserved it because he was a natural.
The first year.
But the thing was, Jericho came a year prior to that. He already established himself. He deserved it, But
there were three guys here that really deserved it: Rikishi, Jericho, and Angle.
Yeah.
But more so than most, I think Jericho.
Only got one guy can win, though, unfortunately.
Exactly. No, let's have a triple threat match and share it. So now following this, not another match. Shane and Vince in the back. Shane worried about the no interference thing. Triple H going, way to go, Joe Cool and whatnot. Vince is over there going, we got this. Because his whole idea is that Rock, Undertaker, and Kane will not be able to coexist. The reason why is because, and this was a weird match to have. You've got Triple H teaming with Shane and Vince, defending his title against The Rock, Kane, and The Undertaker in a 6-man tag format. However, any one of those guys can become the WWE champion if they pin one of the other opponents. And Vince's deal is they're not going to be able to coexist, and they'll wind up beating the hell out of each other.
That's just stupid. It's just stupid. A 6-man tag team match for the title?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Stupid.
This should have been a fatal 4-way match.
If anything, yeah.
Do a fatal 4-way match. I'm sorry. Triple H, Rock, Kane, Taker in the ring. Let's do it. This was the thinking at the time. It was something new. It didn't work. I didn't like it.
No.
And they've done it more and more in pay-per-views in the future, and I didn't like them either.
Garbage.
Yep. So following this, now they showed WWF New York. Ivory and Mick Foley were there. Foley said he had a meeting the next day. That was Shawn Michaels relinquishing commissionership and Mick Foley taking over. Long live the King. So our next match before the King of the Ring tournament starts up again, it was a fatal 4-way elimination match for the tag team titles. Too Cool defending the championships against Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and TNA. Anytime you got a match like this, don't bet against Edge and Christian. They're going to win one way or another. And I love their 5-second pose of the Mets and Red Sox, Mookie Wilson and Bill Buckner.
Bill Buckner, yeah.
I love it, man. Diehard Met fan.
That was funny. That was good stuff.
It really. I love their 5-second flash for the benefit of people with flash photography. I loved it. So, as this match went on, the first to be eliminated was TNA by the Hardy Boys. Jeff hit the Swanton mat pin test. TNA is gone. Next gone were the Hardy Boys by Edge and Christian. Christian pinned Matt. They're out of here.
Lita had interfered in this match too, right? She had interfered.
Yes, which I had no problem with.
Yeah.
Love those hurricanranas off the top rope by
Team
Lita,
Extreme.
which is great. Yes. And believe it or not, and agree with me or disagree with me, I think Too Cool handled themselves in this match very well.
Yeah.
To where, because a lot of people, I remember back then, they were saying that it was garbage that Too Cool was ever, the tag titles were ever put on them.
Oh man, I know they were comedy, but those guys they were legit.
They can handle themselves, and in that final down, it was Edge and Christian and Too Cool down to each other. That match was really good.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I said the card stunk. All right, this was the exception to the non King of the Ring tournament matches. Too Cool hits their finisher, Christian hits Brian Christopher with the tag belt, and Edge gets the pin. That's the only thing I didn't like. It wasn't one clean, but Edge and Christian are heels. It's not going to be one clean.
No.
So once again, Edge and Christian are the tag team champions, and they have a match heading up in the summer that was going to be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So following now this match, Michael Cole interviewed Crash Holly, who said he could, he didn't come here to go home empty-handed. He's got his match against Kurt Angle. He said he can beat him. Good luck to you. Our next semifinals match was Rikishi versus Val Venus. Now, these guys had a feud going. Mm-hmm. The last couple of times they fought, it got extreme. And so, this was a rivalry, even more than the Chris Benoit thing. And, Val comes off the top rope, hits Rikishi caught him and hits the belly-to-belly for the pin. That I really enjoyed, how he countered that. After that, Trish attacked Rikishi. He went for the splash, but Val Venus attacked him and hit him with the steps and the chair. So now they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're really emphasizing this injury of Rikishi. Mm-hmm. Now. Yeah. After every match, they're focusing on hurting him more to go into the finals. So now Val Venus is out. Rikishi's the first one in the finals. So following this, Coach had interviewed Gerald Briscoe about his match. Oh, my God. I can't believe I watched this. This was ridiculous.
And Russo's gone. We can't blame Russo for this.
No, this was Vince's doing because Vince, when they're pretending, because when Patterson won the title and he's hiding in the women's locker room and Briscoe dresses up as a woman and they're fighting and Vince happens to walk in on him, he goes, "Okay, we're going to have the first ever hardcore evening gown match." I'm like, why did you do this? In any event, our next match in the semifinals was Kurt Angle and Crash Holly. Wasn't much to this match. Angle hits the Angle Slam and gets the pin on Crash Holly. So the Cinderella story is over. We've got Rikishi and Angle in the finals. Well deserved for both men. And like you said, Angle was a natural. So I understand pushing him as fast as they did. Whereas some guys, I don't understand it. Like it's just too soon. So after this, I actually liked this. The night before, they showed the matches at Madison Square Garden, and who was on hand? Our boy Donald Trump sitting ringside.
With Melania.
Yes.
They had. I think they were still around the time they just started dating. I think. I don't think they weren't married yet.
No.
As far as I know,
I don't think so.
Interesting. Just where they wind up in the White House, kind of crazy, man. Who would have thought?
Following that, now Michael Cole had interviewed Kane, and then Coach interviewed The Undertaker about the upcoming match tonight. Now, unfortunately, they showed what led up, like I just mentioned, for the hardcore match, because our next match is a hardcore evening gown match for the championship. Pat Patterson defending it against Gerald Briscoe. Evening gown rules and also hardcore rules as well.
It's just garbage. At least it was short, right?
Yeah, Crash comes down with his own referee. He came down and got in the match. Crash pinned Patterson, gets the hardcore title. So
there you go.
Crash Holly's not going home empty-handed.
He's not going home. Yeah, good for Crash.
He's got his baby back.
Yeah.
And we don't have to see this garbage no more. And thank God it was only a 3-minute match, but it was way longer than we needed.
Too long, yeah. 3 minutes.
Exactly. The only good thing I liked was they came down to Real America.
Oh, yeah.
They were starting to do that again.
Yeah.
Which made it available in one of the video game that came out that year. Was Hogan's theme was actually back in it, which I thought was cool. Because everybody was making Hulk Hogan in that game. So now our next match didn't make any sense. This was WCW thinking. This was combining 2 matches into one. Didn't make any sense. You have the 3-on-2 handicap tables and dumpsters match. I don't understand.
Yeah,
you're gonna have one tag team benefits from tables, the other one from dumpsters. I understand that. So make it either or, not both, because they weren't really clear on now if Road Dogg and X-Pac put the Dudleys through the table, did they win?
Right.
And or if
they get thrown to the dumpster.
Who's benefiting from which one?
I guess either or. I don't.
It didn't make any sense. And what made it even worse was the wrong team won this match. The Dudleys should have won this match.
And so Billy Gunn's hurt at this point.
Yes.
He's injured, so that's why he's not there.
DX is pretty much nonchalant at this point with Triple H doing his thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ivory.
Tori. Yeah, she's in it.
Tori's in it. Nobody remembers her being in DX. She's like the forgotten member.
Almost a lot more than Ravish and Rick Rude.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I don't even know why she was there. I don't understand it. Bubba had an infatuation with Tori. He even spray painted her name. She had her own special table. The match wasn't bad,
no, it was okay. It was all right.
But the ending was a little dull. You know, Tori goes and hides in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then they're looking, and then they get thrown in it.
And they get thrown in, yeah.
And that's it. Road Dogg and X-Pac and Tori win. But they shouldn't have been the winners in this match.
So I guess all three had to go through the table. Is that what it was? Because Tori never actually went through the table?
I don't know. I know they both went through. Road Dogg went through the double table.
But I think they had to get Tori too, and then that would mean that they won the match. I guess
they should have specified the rules in this one, because even back then I was confused, like as far as who has to be put through what to declare the victory. Like I said, it was now stupid. At the end. The ending was better when both Road Dogg and X-Pac get 3D'd. Tori gets thrown through her own table, and Bubba needs a cigarette.
Yeah.
So, you know, Bubba having that look on his face and needing a cigarette, that to me, okay, you justified a really crappy match. What are you going to do? Following this, Michael Cole interviewed Kurt Angle.
Oh, Lord Jesus, another interview.
He called out Triple H once he won the King of the Ring. We've already covered this part of it, how, yes, he is supposed to get it. No, he does not. But he gets it later on anyway when he becomes champion. I believe it was, in September? October he becomes champion. So Coach then interviewed Rikishi. He called Kurt Angle Captain America. I thought that was cool. You know, probably, Kurt will take that as not as an insult, as a compliment.
That's a compliment, yeah.
So our King of the Ring finals match, we've got Kurt Angle and Rikishi. It did not last long. You know, it was about 6-minute match, mainly because you had the main event coming up.
Yeah, and they had a built-in storyline of the injury and everything. So, it was basically, I mean, I thought the match was fine. It was basically, you wanted to push Kurt Angle, but you wanted to keep Rikishi strong.
Yeah.
So I guess in making him injured, that gave him the out of why he lost, is because he was hurt. So I understood why they did it the way that they did it. He, what was it, a belly to belly? He couldn't get him up in the angle slam. He got him on the belly. I think it was a belly to belly off the top. I think.
Rikishi went to the top rope. Angle followed. He was belly to belly to Rikishi and got the pin there. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I did like during this match is they mentioned all the King of the Ring winners except Mabel and Shamrock. They didn't mention 95 or 98, but everybody else was mentioned. Brett, Owen, Austin, Triple H, and Billy Gunn, but not those two guys. I just thought that was funny. I mean, hell, you're going to mention Bret Hart.
I guess they want bad terms. I don't know.
Just as I'm listening to them talk about it, and when they brought up Owen Hart, I heard the pause there from JR, because Lawler brought it up, but they still brought it on. I'm like, all right, so we can check off 93, 94. And as they're going through, I'm like, oh, Mabel and Shamrock were outed. Well, Shamrock had left earlier in the year.
Yeah, but he left on bad terms, I think. So
yeah, and then Viscera wasn't there anymore.
He wasn't there, yeah.
So now we get Kurt Angle's coronation the next night, and unfortunately, no title shot for him. But again, like we said, there's the risk of repeating myself. He gets it later on. So congratulations to King Kurt. Now on to the main event. The Rock, Undertaker, and Kane challenging Triple H for the WWE title, teaming up together, and Vince and Shane would be teaming with Triple H.
I actually like this Triple H theme song.
Yes.
This one and the other one, Motorhead.
Motorhead, yes.
Those are his two best, I think.
Yeah, my son loves this one, and he loves when the lights go down with the strobe lights and everything. It was great.
Actually good, yeah. It was great at the 2000 Triple H as a heel was really good.
Yeah.
2000 Triple H, he was a great heel.
I mean, considering Austin's out and Taker was gone part of the year, him and Rock had to step up.
Rock was on fire too in 2000. That was like probably his peak.
Yes,
might
definitely
be his peak.
And nothing better than feuding with Triple H during that time. And then when Austin came back, it didn't disappoint because they just added him into the thing with Triple H. Yeah. So it was great. And this match was pretty good. I love the Vince pretending to be a badass in this match. He's getting his ass kicked half the time. What else was it? He had the cheap shots on Kane. He low blowed The Rock. of course, all 6 men get in the ring. Of course, that's going to happen. Kane tombstone Triple H, but the pin was broken up by The Undertaker. This is where Vince's master plan was to take effect, that they could not work with each other. And they're really not supposed to, if you think about it. They're all going for the title.
Yeah.
And, of course, like Taker in his interview, I didn't come here to lose. Mm-hmm. So, of course, these guys, tagging themselves in because they're not going to tag somebody in for them, in a regular tag match. They're going to try to stay in there as long as they can to get the victory. And, of course, Taker hits Kane with a chair. Go figure. Like, we haven't seen this over the last 3 years. Taker chokeslam Shane from the top of the
rope. That was great.
Through the announce table.
That was great.
Loved it.
That was a great spot,
it.
Man. Yeah, that was a tremendous spot.
Vince went for the people's elbow, which I thought was ridiculous.
That was funny. Though.
Rock kicks up, hits him with the rock bottom, and pins Vince. And Triple H has got this look on his face like, Joe Cool, what the hell? Rock is now once again in 2000 a WWE champion.
5-time champion.
Yep, because he won it twice in 2000.
Yeah. This is the only thing back then I didn't like the way they just kept swapping those belts.
I didn't like how Rock was a 3-time champion going into WrestleMania 15.
Yeah, like that's too much, man.
Like he wasn't even he won it. Talk about 5 months ago, he won the tournament. And now he's already a 3-time champion going to face Austin.
Think about it. He won it in '98. It's 2000 now. He's already gotten it 5 times in 2 years.
Yeah, because he won it twice.
I didn't like that. That starts happening around this time where.
Because right after WrestleMania, Rock beats him for the title, then loses it in the Iron Man match, and then wins it back here.
But I mean, it was great to see The Rock at the title again. But just for him to beat Vince, I don't know. I didn't really. I
would have rather him pin Triple H.
Yeah, she should have pinned Triple H.
Yeah, I would have rather Rock pin Triple H, and this feud technically is over and done with at this point because now The Rock is going forward, not facing Triple H. He's going to face Benoit fully loaded, and then he's going to go on from there. So, but yeah, it kind of took away from it that it was that he pinned Vince. But considering how Vince was that night, as cocky as he was and as arrogant he was, Rock put him in his place. Yeah. And considering what Rock got put through with Vince, even up at WrestleMania, I think it was.
Yeah, I guess you look at it that way.
It was just desserts.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys let us know what you think about this pay-per-view. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.